Every viral video, every scroll, every trend that we decide to jump on just puts us further and further into brainwashing ourselves.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops.
Yes.
Water. Like out the toilet?
Brain rot is shaping how we think without us even realizing it. Edward Bernays is the father of public relations, the father of consumer psychology. He didn't just sell products, he sold ideas, he sold habits. Now, guess what? Do you really think they dumped out all of those principles? You really think they just got rid of everything because they realized it was bad? They did not get rid of any of it. It's still being used today. So let's learn a little bit more about Edward Bernays. Why were smoking cigarettes cool? Like, why at one point was it cool to smoke cigarettes? Well, you can thank Edward Bernays. Guess what? Cigarette companies approached Edward Bernays and they said, hey, we have men smoking cigarettes. Oh, they love smoking cigarettes. But women aren't smoking cigarettes because men see it as not ladylike to smoke cigarettes. Well, he sat and he thought about it and he said, what if we turn cigarettes into symbols of being an independent woman? Being a strong woman means that you smoke cigarettes because you're going literally against what men are telling you is ladylike. He understood that if you tie smoking cigarettes to a political cause, which is women's rights, then boom, you got easy sales, you got easy conversion, because people aren't just looking at it like, oh, I need to smoke cigarettes because cigarettes are cool or cigarettes taste good or cigarettes are healthy. They're looking at it like, if you're not smoking cigarettes, are you for the patriarchy? Look at what Gen Z is going through as far as vaping. Gen Z is hooked on the vape. I mean, everybody knows that friend that's just vaping all day long. And you know how that became cool? Because e-cigarettes started as an alternative to cigarettes. It's healthy. And now you have all these people that are just vaping because vaping is cool. It's not smoking a cigarette. You know, who wants to do that? That's disgusting. But vaping is cool. Vaping, you can taste blueberries. Vaping, you can taste egg McMuffins while you're vaping. Another thing that Bernays did that's a little less harmful to the community is that he got kids to have carving contests of ivory soap. Guess what? That's literally, let's do this challenge of carving this, and that way you're married to this brand. Because what are you going to do when you go home? You're going to look for ivory soap to go grab when you're looking to carve some soap because you've already used ivory soap. What are some modern parallels here? Well, guess what? You got things like the Benadryl challenge. People are a little bit older, the cinnamon challenge. You got the blackout challenge. And I'm pretty sure the younger Gen Zs tried the cinnamon challenge again, and that didn't go too well. But you got all these challenges that are harmful. You had challenges where people were really going up to people and hurting them for the challenge's sake. So we get challenges where people act way outside of what they would normally do just because everybody else is doing it, just because it's a movement, just because they want to be able to say that they were a part of it. Have you ever wondered why we eat bacon and eggs? Why bacon and eggs? Why do we want bacon and eggs for breakfast? Why is that the default thing? Who made that? Well, guess what? Edward Bernays, again, he's got his fingerprints over all of American society. This man went to, 5,000 doctors. And he just had 5,000 doctors write, the American breakfast is too light. It would be much healthier if they got people to eat heavier breakfasts. That's literally all he had to do was go to doctors. Guess what you see on every commercial these days about any health product? Recommended by the board of blah, blah, blah doctors. That's because of this guy. This man went to 5,000 doctors and had them write these things, and people jumped on it without question. You know how you do that now? You make a supplement. Let's say it's a pre-workout. Well, guess what? You go to the top fitness influencers and you say, this pre-workout helped me put on 20 pounds of muscle. I don't need to use another pre-workout because I'm an expert, because I have this physique that everybody else is chasing. And I got this because I use this pre-workout every time. Exact same marketing. It's the exact same marketing. It's influencer marketing. It's easy stuff to pick up. And this is what we watch. Our favorite YouTubers are all pushing things, whether it be good or bad. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's an easy, exchange where it's what I'm looking for and they're advertising it. So it's great. We just have to be cognizant of everything we're consuming. So what do we have these days? We have a bunch of movements that everybody's following. We got things that I mentioned before, like the red pill movement, the blue pill movement, the incel movement, the trad wife movement, all these movements that people are identifying with. And have you ever stopped to think and just say, whatever movement I'm following, this is what I want to do. This is what I would have come to, whether I was watching this YouTuber or whether I was reading this Reddit thread or not. You have to really think about, am I following this because I want to push back against what society is telling me to do? Or am I following this because I actually like following it? If you're following it because you actually love it and you actually take a step and analyze, is this something that I like doing? Or is this something that I really identify with? Or is it just a bunch of hooey? Because if it's a bunch of hooey, you should probably take a couple steps back and try to figure out something else to do with your time. Because again, it's all about, what are you aligned with? Are you for this or are you against this? This is how we categorize things. And this is how you get caught into one way of thinking. This is how you're not able to think abstractly. This is how you're not able to think independently of what the group says. I literally got some text messages a couple of weeks ago from the cryptocurrency sites that I follow, and they're telling me who to vote for. The cryptocurrency sites are saying, if you love crypto, vote for this person. We're literally in a situation now where people are literally listening to what their group is doing, and they're doing the exact same thing. There's no independent thinking. So how can you not be an NPC? It's really simple. All you have to do to not be an NPC is try to recognize the propaganda. Everything that's being thrown at you these days is propaganda. There is no company that lives in this country that's a company that you're going to be seeing as an advertisement, or a company that's going to be even putting on a show. Whatever this company is doing, there's no company that doesn't have a public relations department. There's no company that isn't carefully considering what they're putting out as a brand. And like I said, a lot of these things, it's good. A lot of these things are going to be helpful, but a lot of these things you have to comb through to see, are they going to be helpful to you, or are they going to be harmful to you? So being someone who has a master's in psychology, I'll try to look at everything the same way, which is vetting your resources, vetting everything before you decide to believe something. Because just think, for instance, let's go back to the cigarettes. A cigarette company says that their cigarettes are 50% less likely to cause heart problems and lung problems. Well, guess what? What if that cigarette company that gets that reward from that study paid for it? What does that means that study is basically, let's go back to it, a bunch of hooey. The study's a bunch of hooey until we see a neutral source put out those same results. Same thing with everything else. Whose video are you watching? What are their interests? What can they benefit from pushing whatever they're pushing towards you, whether it be a product, whether it be an idea, whether it be anything? Before you decide to align with anything that anybody's doing, what are their motives? What could they possibly gain from that? And then also just think about it. You may really enjoy this YouTuber. You may really enjoy this influencer. You may really enjoy this celebrity. But no matter how much you like them and identify with some of the things that they identify with, do you actually like what they're talking about? Are you going out and buying things just because it's that person? And sometimes you want to support people, that's fine. But are you just going out and buying things like, for instance, you're going out and buying a leather jacket because you saw the Fonz wearing a leather jacket, and I've never even seen Happy Days, but you saw the Fonz wearing a leather jacket, so you're going out and buying a leather jacket. Do you actually like the leather jacket? Or are you going out just because I want to be cool like the Fonz? Like, do you actually want to do that? Or are you doing it because everybody thinks it's cool? And then, my friends, you got to take breaks from the algorithm. I mean, a lot of people say social media detoxes. Those are fine. But another thing you can do is go on YouTube or go on Twitter or go on, we're still calling it Twitter forever. We're never calling it that other thing. But go on one of these things, and there's always some kind of For You page or, recommended page. Don't go to that. Don't go to that page unless you're doing some kind of market research, whatever. But don't go to that page as much as you possibly can, because that's what the algorithm or whoever, or, the powers that be, that's what all those folks want you to be watching. That's what everybody wants you to be watching at that point. So look at what you're actually subscribed to. Look at the stuff from the people you're actually following on Twitter. Like, Twitter is ridiculous. I get things that I'm not remotely interested on, and they just pop up over and over again. So Just look at the people that you follow, look at the people that you're subscribed to. You curated your page a certain way for that reason. So don't let an algorithm just show you whatever it wants to show you. Look, in every society, there's going to be a large amount of people who some people call sheep, who some people call followers, but those are just people who are kind of on autopilot. I'd hate to say it, they're just on autopilot. Don't be on autopilot. Literally, if you step out of a line, if everybody is walking forward and everybody's the same height, you can't see where you're going. So why are you following these people? Sometimes you just got to take a step out of the line. When you're in traffic, some people get out of their car and they look forward. Sometimes you got to take a step out of that line and look down the line and say, do I want to walk off this cliff with these people, or do I want to just go get some McDonald's? Like, sometimes you just have to take a step out of the line and figure out where you're actually going and what you're doing, and if you actually want to do it. It's just that simple. Don't be an NPC, people. It's really easy. You just decide not to do it. Just step out of line. It's really easy. So brain rot and propaganda are literally everywhere. The question is, are you going to control your own mind, or are you going to let everybody else control it for you? You want to start making strides into forging your own path without fear? Check this video out here.